Hey folks, it's Wade the Shoe Dog, and welcome to the Shoemakers Academy. Today we are going to look at a pair of Vans. We're going to look at a couple pairs of Vans, but today it's time for the Vans Classic Slip-On. Here we go. We got a pair of size 9s. These are fresh from the outlet, so I know that these are real. And I paid $65 for these. Okay. All right. So I know these are the real deal. They came directly from the outlet. So we're going to pull these out. The box looks pretty legit to me. It's got Vans branded tissue paper. It has a QC OK. Thank you, X45, whoever that is. All right. Let's set the box aside. Okay, so we have the classic checkerboard, Spicoly edition, or whatever you want to call it. These are, we're going to see what it says here. Hopefully we can get a look at that. If you can't read it there, I can read it. US 9, European 42, made in Vietnam. Okay, now I've been to the factory that was making these in, oh my gosh, where was that? Chengdu, up in China, and that was about maybe 15 years ago. And there was absolutely a flood of these things. They are actually really vulcanized, and if you can't remember what vulcanized is, we have another video on the channel, so check that out. But what we just want to look for, I mean, now these are not expensive shoes to make. And I mean, vulcanizing is a little bit more expensive process, but we're just gonna give these the once over. Then we're gonna cut them open and look inside. But you know, basically regular standard canvas. I don't know if you remember the Converse review. They actually had changed the internal lining to polyester, but these are in fact canvas. Okay, so we're gonna look at the outsoles here. Okay. So we're looking here at the outsoles. Man, these look pretty nice. Now, again, these are vulcanized shoes, so you're going to see, and this is particularly the case with Vans. You see these sort of lumps and bumps on the heel. You know, this is correct. This is actually how how Vans chooses to make these. So when you're looking to see if a pair is real or fake, that's the first thing you want to look at. You've got two layers of tape, and they all overlap each other in the back, and the license plate, that little red thing, wraps over it. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit lumpy and bumpy. We're going to just take a look, and when we're inspecting a pair of shoes like this, we want to look for symmetricality, right? We want to make sure that it's the same material, right? Same colors, textures, right? Logos look good, stitching looks clean. I don't see any dirt on these. I mean, we see some lumps and bumps, but again, that's part of the process. I don't see anything that gives me any concern. These are a pretty nice looking pair of shoes. Now, I do see, this is something that I hadn't quite seen before on these, is looking at how the tape, let me try to get a little closer here, looking at how the tape wraps around here in this toe cover, this toe tip. Actually, you can see that line is a little bit wavy. I mean, this black line is in the rubber, and that comes off the machine and it's nice and straight. But here you can see where whoever did the wrapping wasn't exactly straight. You can see how that line, you know, where the diamond texture stops, right? You can see how that line wanders a little bit. So there's a little bit of a gap there. You know, so it's a little bit, there's a gap, and then it gets tight and overlaps. And we look at this shoe, and it looks perfect. So, you know, these two, yes, there's a pair, but you know what, going down the assembly line, there's hundreds of these left and right. They're not separated. This pair only comes together, you know, at the end of the assembly line. It's not like a pair of leather shoes where you actually want to be careful and make sure that the pair stays with each other. But for this kind of canvas screen printed shoe, the color stability is 100%. So really, the idea that these were made together by the same person is not possible. Okay, but you know, just looking at how whoever applied the tape here, you know, didn't do as good a job. This one is perfect, and this one there's a little wandering. But hey, does this affect the cosmetic of the shoe dramatically? No. Does it affect the wearability of the shoe? Not at all. It's still a perfectly fine shoe. So, and then you know, the generally the stitching quality looks fine. Now, of course, when you're designing a shoe and you're putting contrasting stitching, say white on black, sometimes you want to be careful. If the factory's stitching quality isn't, you know, up to par, then doing white stitching on black, you could see all zigzags and jags, and it could be messy. But in this case, nothing. You know, from a quality assembly perspective, these shoes, they look fine. Okay, so now we're gonna feel inside. Now, a lot of these, this kind of vinyl lining, sometimes around the heel, can get a little bit bunched up. I see, you know, some small wrinkles here, but generally it looks pretty good. The heel pocket is beautifully smooth on both, right? So you just run your finger in there. Oh yeah, this is nice. They've really done a nice job there, and it will just get. I mean, actually, so inside the shoe, you're unlikely to feel anything because it's all smooth, right? But of course, you want to just get your hand in there and see. Now, I know these shoes maybe have a lasting apron. I'm looking deep inside to see what I can see, but we're going to get the knife out and we'll take a look. But boy, you know, running inside here, everything feels nice and smooth. This is pretty nice pair of shoes there. Now, I know how these shoes are made, where they actually do the lasting with the footbed in place, so it's pretty well glued down. So we won't tear it out. We're going to wait, and we're going to cut the whole shoe in half, and we're going to get a look inside. So here I've got a pair of Old Schools. And you can see that the outsole tape, you know, I thought they were going to be identical. They're not. Now, it may be because, I don't know, this where this one was made. This one was made in Vietnam. You know, the texture on the tape looks a little bit different. You know, who knows? But the stack height and all that looks the same. All right. Okay, so let's see. We're going to keep the rights. We'll set that aside over here, and we're going to go into this left here, and we are going to we're going to get started here. I'm going to just use my shears here, and we'll just get a good look inside here. Okay, and we'll just go right down through the heel counter. Okay, well, hey, why is this cut so easy? It's because this shoe is vulcanized, and it doesn't have like rigid plastic internal to it. So we'll just get through the outsole here. Okay, we'll get through the toe cap. Okay, and we will start cutting. Be careful, watch your fingers. Okay, now we're in. Let's just go nice and carefully. Guess I need a sharper blade here. Not cutting that clean. We'll see. There we go. All right. Okay. So, what we're looking at here, and we're going to preserve that side. What I want to do is go ahead and start to peel. We're going to peel the lining out of this, and we're going to look and see what we've got here. So this shoe, despite the fact that it's 100% textile, has been board lasted, and we're just going to peel it up So we can look here. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So there's some good stuff here. So first we'll look at the inside lining. There is a little reinforcing fabric. I see a little wrinkle down here. Now that was underneath the footbed, so you're not likely to feel it. Not perfect, but this is all canvas, so it's nice and thin. And they've got a little fabric. It looks like a filler layer, but it's interesting because it overlaps the lasting margin, which is a little bit strange there, but okay. But here, what we've got is the footbed, and actually this also is the midsole cushioning. But what I see here is they've actually flared it a little bit, and actually this piece actually has a little arch in it, which is pretty interesting. I don't think I've seen that before in these shoes. Now I'm going to just lift up this other shoe here. Oh yeah, it's that way. It has that. Okay, maybe I just never noticed. But actually, that's a nice feature. They have that little bit of arch there. But what I'm looking at here is I see they've printed on the bottom of the lasting board. Now this is a pretty flexible lasting board. I mean, it's a pretty flexible shoe. So we still call it a board, even though it's textile. But what they've done is they've actually printed a lasting line. So when the workers are pulling the fabric over or using a machine to last the shoe, they have a marking to follow. So that's that. So we're going to actually look inside this thing, and what you've got here is you've got the footbed foam, which it feels like it's a little bit of blown rubber, and then of a lighter density, that's the blue stuff. And then you've got this gray stuff, and if you look closely, we'll see if we can zoom in on that. You'll see that there's speckles in there, and what this material usually is they've taken any leftover tape from the assembly operation that's kicked off, and they can't use it, and then they will regrind it and use that to make the midsole. But hey, quickly, we want to take a second here to remind you who's bringing you this video. This video is brought to you by Shoemakers Academy, and we have lots of great videos here, but we have online courses, we have supplies. If you want to make a pair of Jordans, or actually later if you want to try to make your own Vans, we're going to have materials for that. But we've got outsoles, shoemaking tools, all kinds of stuff like that. We also have a whole collection of shoemaking books if you want to learn and get into the business. Okay, and also, hey, this here is a postcard that you get. It's $50 off any of our online courses, and that code, if you can't read it, is SMAEM50. Okay, so I'd like to thank myself for bringing you this video. Okay, next part. Okay, so now we're looking at the old school, right? And we find that we're looking at the internal componentry of these two, and they're basically identical. I mean, the color is a little different, right? But when you look at these two, the color's a little different, but the waffle sole, the height of the tape, thickness of the tape, the thickness of the footbed, everything's pretty much the same here. It's just the uppers are slightly different. So that's pretty cool. But we're going to take a little bit of a look on the inside of the upper. This shoe is so simple that this underlay panel of elastic, the danger is, because this is against your foot, you're going to have to finish it somehow, right? And you can see what they've done here is they've done a little top stitch around it, and then they've taped the whole thing in. So just to cover the edge to stop it from fraying. Is it the best job? Yeah, it's okay. Have not looked at an old one of these to know if it's dramatically better or worse, but generally inside, again, it's really quite smooth, wrinkle-free. Yeah, there's a couple of wrinkles up here in the toe, but then again, these wrinkles are underneath, they're in the lasting margin, and they're underneath the footbed, so your foot basically is not going to feel anything. Pretty sturdy canvas here. I mean, it's lightweight, but it's good enough. The vinyl collar with a little bit of foam, pretty wrinkle-free. Hey, these are, for what it is, which is about the most basic shoe you can make, this Vans classic slip-on, is pretty well put together. I mean, again, not the most cushioning in the world, but for a slip-on casual kick-around shoe, skateboarders love these things. It's kind of an institution. You know, whether now that they're not made in Anaheim anymore, they're made in Vietnam, which is here nor there. But anyways, not bad shoes. And actually, hey, stay tuned, folks. I've got another video coming. We've got another pair of Vans. I wish I could say that it was going to be a good report, but these are fakes, so it's going to be pretty gross. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Hey, folks, thank you for visiting the Shoemakers Academy, and please come by the website, and we've got a lot more content to share with you. If you really want to learn about the shoes, whether you're making your own, or you're studying, or you want to be a designer, we've got plenty of stuff for you. So thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate it. Hey, like and subscribe if you get the chance. Thank you.